Hello, my Crystal Loves Texas podcast family. I am so glad that you are here with us today. Thank you for my YouTube viewers, and thank you so much for my Facebook viewers who have been with us all 4 years. I am here with, of course, my co-host Rebecca Williams, and of course, when we need a little bit of spice in there, and we want to get some input that's going to be 100% candid. We gotta have my sister Kim in there. And wait a minute, okay. And we have a teacher who's here with us today. And we were gonna bring her in a little bit later, but because of what came across my phone from American Federation of Teachers about 30 minutes ago, I said we need to get her input on this part too. And that is the government shutdown and how it's going to affect education, how it's going to affect all of us. I'm a classroom teacher. She is a former classroom teacher. She is a former classroom teacher. And she's the mother of someone who was taught by a classroom teacher, including myself and including Miss Williams. We both taught her daughter at different times.
And she was also part of the PTA.
Yeah, she was a PTA
parent.
Absolutely.
She was very involved.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we want to touch on that because I don't know if people realize exactly how important and how far-reaching something like a government shutdown can be. Now, you may think that it is simply, the senators and the congressmen and the politicians not getting paid and them fighting and throwing stones in a little room up there in Washington. It's much more far-reaching than that. And Rebecca, tell me about some of the things that will involve teachers and the cutbacks that will involve teachers as a result of this government shutdown.
Well, let's start real quick.
We're going to do healthcare too.
Yeah.
We're going to do Medicaid too. We're going to touch on all of that.
Yeah. Because I wanted to say these two because just to have like a well-rounded perspective.
Yeah.
The military is being affected. The VA is being affected. For all of you who like to catch flights, not feelings. Okay, that's being affected.
Yeah.
TSA is being affected. So everything that you pretty much use in a governmental IRS, Social Security, Medicaid, all of that is being affected by this government shutdown.
Yes.
Can I jump in?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm going to jump in. I'm going to tell viewers to get specifics. Go to NBCnews.com.
Yes.
When you go in and Google, how will the government shutdown affect me? This is going to give a rundown of the majority of the agencies and if they will or will not be still being paid and, with shutdowns happening. Now, let me start with saying this. There has been a lot of spin from the White House and this administration.
Yep, exactly.
And let me tell you this, everybody who can hear me, they are lying to you. They are lying to you.
About what, Kim?
They are lying because their narrative is that the Democrats wanted to shut the government down because for some reason, Democrats wanted illegal aliens, that is their terminology, not mine, to get Medicaid funding. Now, Democrats got together and said, we're not gonna be a part of helping you advance this bill.
That's right.
That they wanted to get through because we have leverage at this point. We know to get it passed, y'all gonna need us.
That's right.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna say we want you all to go back in and the subsidies that were being affected by the big BS bill. We want those rolled back and cut out.
Yep.
We do not want Medicaid, Medicare, SNAP benefits, ACA, which is most commonly called Obamacare.
Yes.
We do not want these affected. We do not want these to be cut.
Yes.
Because on the chopping block is over $800 billion in cuts to those agencies. We know that those will affect up to 20 million people in this country.
Absolutely.
Democrats did not want that, so they said we're going to use this as a bargaining chip. Now,
and it might hurt a little bit on the front end, but on the back end, what we're trying to do is save you something that may eventually save your life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. So all of that to say that as soon as the shutdown happened, Republicans were out there on the airwaves spinning that the Democrats wanted illegal immigrants to get Medicaid and Medicare and SNAP and all this kind of stuff. It's a lie. They're lying to you.
So, Kim, let me ask you this, and then I want our guest,
Mhm.
teacher, Portia Harrison, to tell us a little bit about herself
Mhm.
and how. Portia, first of all, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. In going through college and going through graduate school, in any way, did you apply for and were you granted any type of student financial aid?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And that's going to be the case for how many hundreds of thousands of students in the country? Okay. Also, these people realize and understand that with the government shutdown, things like that are their pet peeve sources that's gonna be hit first.
Right.
Yeah. And the thing about it is you sacrificed and you went on to be able to get your master's degree and graduate degree and undergraduate degree, sacrificing and going forward wanting to become someone who passed on that knowledge to other people.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
We're going to hit on that in a minute. But Kim, can you tell us some of the things that when people talk about our illegal immigrants going to be able to get funds from the government, health care, what are the stipulations if somebody walks into a SNAP, I mean, not SNAP, walks into an office to apply for health care? What has to be presented?
The first questions they're going to ask you, number one, are you a U.S. citizen? If the answer is no, you're out. You're going to have a social security card. Now, if you don't have a social security card, if you are one of the class of immigrants,
If you have a green card, if you are legally allowed to be here working in the United States on some type of official immigration papers, you may apply for benefits after a certain amount of time.
Yes.
However, someone walking in across the border right now, walking to the Brownsville office of Medicaid, cannot go in and apply for food stamps. They can't apply for Medicaid. They can apply for no government assistance. That's not how it works.
Mm-hmm.
It's as easy as Googling that.
It's very easy, and I've seen a lot of people, like I said, Mike Johnson, Trump, all these people on the TV, telling you that is why they want to go ahead and push this bill through, and the Democrats want to give these benefits to illegal immigrants. It is not true. They're lying to you. They're lying to you to your face. They're lying to all the news outlets.
Yes.
Let me make no mistake of that.
And this minority whip, Hakeem Jeffries, cleared this up last night. He said the whole reason the shutdown happened. He said him and Chuck Schumer, who is also the minority whip in the Senate.
Yeah.
Hey, they lead the Democrats in the Senate.
Mm-hmm.
He said the meeting literally lasted 20 minutes.
Yeah.
He said
no negotiating, no bargaining.
He went on a whole rant talking about how he won the election as if they weren't there to see that.
The meeting with Trump. The meeting with Trump.
He brought up illegal aliens for 10 seconds because Chuck Schumer pretty much shut him down and said, okay, that's a lie. Yeah. And then that conversation was over.
Right.
And then he started talking about what's wrong with your party and why such wackos in your party. Never discussed and he said, well, I'm standing my ground. If y'all don't give in to us, I'm gonna make sure your people pay.
Oh. All right, so now let's come to that part. When he said, let's make sure your people pay, that means that the first thing that he came out in the media and said, well, a lot of government workers are going to be fired. Yeah. Well, they fired 100,000 of them already.
Yeah.
So
at the VA, and they let a lot of people go.
Yeah, at least 30,000.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted it to be 80,000, but they rolled it back to 30,000. Okay, so government that what Trump is like, well, that's the first thing. Government workers are going to be fired, and he said this with some glee. Okay, and his I guess henchman Russell Vogt, who is over the Office of Management and Budget,
And he also is the big contributor to Project 2025.
oh he's the author of Project 2025. He's now they're looking at him like the Grim Reaper. He's going to go and he's going to start slashing things and slashing budgets, because all of these are scare tactics.
Absolutely.
They're all scare tactics.
Absolutely.
Because I was telling Crystal today, it's kind of like if you're on a slave ship, okay? On this slave ship, you have a choice between staying on the ship and going somewhere that you have no idea where you're going and you're terrified, or jumping over and trying to swim for it. Both of them are real bad scenarios.
That's right.
Okay, but what is going to get you further? Okay, what's going to get you further in the end? The Democrats want to retain the benefits, the health care,
The ACA subsidies.
healthcare, ACA subsidies, Medicaid, SNAP benefits. They don't want these things to be cut. Funds going to rural hospitals. They're trying to not have these things cut.
Right.
Let me explain this too. I have to say this for all, because I'm sick of hearing this on social media too.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not on SNAP. I'm not on Medicaid. I have private insurance. None of that matters to me. So let's explain the trickle down effect of it, shall we? Okay, SNAP's gone. Okay, Medicaid's gone. Okay, they dare not touch Medicare because everybody in Congress
Is on
80
Medicare.
plus.
That's right.
So they not gonna
That's
touch
right.
that.
Yeah.
Okay, so then what happens to you private insurers? Well, hospitals got to treat sick people anyway.
Yep.
They may give them bare minimum treatment, but they have to get treated.
That's
So
right.
that's what that means for you private insurance people. Your deductibles are going to skyrocket. And I don't think there's nobody, I don't care what kind of job you have, I don't think nobody wants to pay $3,000 for a copay, especially if you got children.
Yeah.
So that's what's going to happen. So for all of you people who say, well, none of this matters to me because I have private insurance, okay, let all of those subsidies go. And not only are you going to be paying for yourself and your family, you're going to be paying for the people who can't afford it.
And not only that, Rebecca, everybody has to acknowledge, I don't care who you are, unless you are Trump and Musk and some of these billionaires around here, you know somebody who has those benefits.
Absolutely.
You know somebody who gets Medicaid. You know somebody who gets SNAP benefits.
That's right.
You know somebody who gets WIC. You know
That's right.
somebody. Even though these people might not tell you, because if people come up and say, hey, I get Medicaid, at that point, that's admitting that you're probably someone who is living maybe at or below the poverty level.
Right.
Nobody wants to admit that.
Yeah.
Okay, nobody does. So I can almost guarantee you're not going to have a whole lot of people coming up to you and say, hey, you know what? I get Medicaid. I'm on SNAP. You're not going to do it. It's not going to happen. But that doesn't mean you don't know these people.
That's right.
You don't know. These people are people who are your friends and neighbors. They will be affected by this.
But you will too. It's just not you. You're going to be affected by it too. Because the hospitals are not going to stop running. So if half of the money comes from, and I don't think people understand how this whole insurance thing works. Okay, half of it comes from federal subsidies and the other half comes from private insurance.
Yeah.
Right? And together, this is how you can go to the doctor and see about yourself. So hospitals still got to run.
That's right.
So even if they don't have those federal subsidies anymore, hospitals still got to run. So what does that mean? And I want to stress this for all these people that say this don't affect me. Okay, your premiums are going to skyrocket. I hear so many people say, oh, I can't afford this insurance. Oh, this insurance is trash. So just imagine if those subsidies weren't there. And now you have to pay for not only yourselves and your family, you're going to have to pay for everybody else who can't afford it. So when you have these Democrats that are saying, no deal, no mas, shut it down, and we're not coming back to the table till you agree, this is why. Because if they would have went ahead and signed off on it and said, okay, here you go, then everybody would have been affected by it.
Everybody would have been affected. Not only that, I want you all to think about it, because people who are seniors, if seniors are in nursing homes, many times those seniors aren't just on Medicare because Medicare does not cover everything.
That's right.
Okay,
That's right.
they are some of the seniors who can do it because of income on a combination
Of Medicare and Medicaid.
Medicaid.
And especially
okay?
if they have a disability too.
That's right.
That's right.
Now they're saying in this big BS bill that that's not going to affect these seniors. I put it like this: if there's someone out there right now who trusts the government and what the government says about what kind of money and it's going to be giving people, you know what? More power to you. I personally do not.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely.
And you know what? Here's the thing, ladies. And then we want to jump a little bit. We want to jump into some things that Portia was telling me. They just blew my hair back. But first, if you are not sure, if you're still not sure, I don't know how anyone at this point could be not sure about this. But if you are still not sure what the administration who is in office in Washington right now feels, how they feel about people who are minority people, who are people who are not wealthy people, who are people who may be very much working class, people who may have different disabilities, or people who are struggling, people who are immigrants. You know, when I heard a commercial today, it talked about, you know, closing these borders, closing these borders. What border are you talking about specifically? Be real when you say it, okay? And if you are not sure,
Right.
and I'm going to pull up a visual. I would never, you know, when I saw this, I had to look twice to make sure I was seeing it right, because never in my history have I seen a president from their own Twitter account or from their own social media account have something like this. Take a look at that, okay? You got Hakeem Jeffries, and you've got President Trump on the back. He's playing. He's comprising an entire mariachi band, and Hakeem Jeffries is in a sombrero, and it's tilted to the side. Okay, so it's some kind of Soul Brothers sombrero, I guess. Okay, but you know, as though people of Hispanic heritage, he's clumping them all into one, and he's placing them in a position of, I don't want to see, you know, mariachi bands are very held in very high esteem, but this was put forth as a joke to make light of this culture, you know, and this should, you know, should this be something coming from the top?
It should not. Yeah, from Trump's top.
No,
Let me say what I mean by it, and I'm not even trying to be funny. Like, you know how people say when you elect a clown, you get the circus. Okay, so this is where we are.
Yeah.
Right now, would I have expected this from a Biden administration? Absolutely
Or
not.
any other
Had I expected this from a George H.W. Bush administration?
No.
Absolutely not.
No.
An Obama administration?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely. So now we have, so if people are asking me, should this happen? It shouldn't, but we're here.
Well, and you know the thing about
As
it,
if he's not 79 years old.
what would be the difference in having a Sanford and Son or Good Times meme or something on there, if you were talking about you know, the African American community, you know, which makes me understand how he sees these other communities.
Yes, exactly.
This is how he sees, you know, are we there for entertainment?
Right.
We're there for being used to play the race card against, because that is going to be the kind of thing that is going to instill fear
And
people,
those who,
fear of change,
yes,
in people who don't look like the people that he's scoffing.
yes,
Let's be real clear about that.
Right.
He is doing that because he wants to look at that. He wants it to be a joke. He wants it to instill fear. He wants it to make people go against all of these people.
but what about, of course it is, but what about the people who are of Hispanic Latino descent who supported him this last time to make light of them, and for whoever is over his, hang on, whoever is over his PR, to allow that to go out and say, sir, no, this is going to be something that is very offensive to a lot of people who put you here.
Who's gonna sell it? Hispanics for Trump, Latinos for Trump, blacks for Trump, Black MAGA, Asians for Trump, Arabs for Trump. All these people who voted for him, right now, the blowback is happening.
Yeah.
So hold on. He does not. In the words of the Real Housewives, he don't like you, boo. He don't like you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He wants people who are going to
fall in
place with him, and who are going to line his pockets.
Yeah.
On that slave ship that I mentioned before, he does not care if you ride that ship and die. He doesn't care if you jump overboard. He really doesn't care.
So, because if he's driving the ship, he's gonna get paid to take you there anyway. Whoever gets there gets there.
Right.
Whoever jumps off. He's still gonna make his money.
That's right.
You asked a very important question.
What's that?
You said, who is there to tell him this is inappropriate?
Yes.
So JD Vance gonna tell him that's inappropriate? Is Christy known who alligator Alcatraz, and she cosplayed as a
Cosplayed ice.
Yeah. Oh no, maybe Pete Hexon, the drunk that's in charge of the military.
Yeah.
These are facts, people. I'm not.
We saw how the military reacted to Pete, didn't we?
Yeah.
Okay. Or Russell Vogt, the one who constructed Project 2025
Right.
in the first place. Or Caroline Lovett, who is his press secretary. He lies every chance she gets. I mean,
in defense.
Nobody, there are no guardrails like it was in his first term.
Right.
At least there were people surrounding him who had some kind of qualifications.
Mm-hmm.
The people now have no qualifications other than they are bootlickers and butt kissers for him. That is why they're there. There's no merit. There is no experience. There is nothing. And so they're not going to go against somebody because if I'm somebody who has no qualifications, at that point, the fact that you pick me means that I'm gonna do whatever I can in order to stay in your good graces.
Okay,
I'm not telling you anything.
Now, with that in mind, we're sitting here with a table full of teachers and one PTA ex-president.
Yeah.
Okay? So, with that in mind, the Department of Education and how it is systematically attempting to be disassembled. Okay, and when asked about it, Elon Musk said this when he was still part of the equation. He said, what we want to do is make sure, if someone said, do you think when you are disassembling these entities that as soon as the Democrats come back in power, they're going to put it right back together? And you know what he said? He said, we just want to make it so much more difficult for them to put it back together. That's so, what is education to these people? We've already talked about that in other podcasts. We've talked about how higher education is being discounted.
Yes.
With that in mind, I'm sitting here today with a former teacher in the largest district in the state of Texas. And I said former for a reason. I too am a former teacher, but for a different reason. About 2 weeks ago, I'm going to say maybe 2 weeks ago, news hit in Houston that in the largest district, 400 plus employees were going to be let go because of budget cuts, right? Low enrollment or whatever was being said. Our guest today, Portia Harrison, was one of those people who was caught in the crossfire. Portia, let me ask you this first. When you got ready, when you decided teaching was not
Just in Houston State University in criminal justice, and I've worked at the city, the county, federal, and state level, so I'm
Wow.
very well versed in, the government and how they operate. So my whole purpose of getting into teaching in the first place was I wanted to be the change that I wanted to see, because education, as we know, is on a steady decline.
Yeah.
For those of you who do not know, and I just really want you to do this one thing, please go watch the documentary Waiting for Superman.
I've heard of it.
Everybody
Yes.
has to watch this documentary,
Yes.
so that you're in the know. So I actually got into education. I worked with a lot of juveniles when I was in my criminal justice career, and a lot of the times they were in there because of lack of education.
Absolutely.
So I just feel
or because or Portia, correct me if I'm wrong, because they may have had an educational deficit, especially something that needed to be addressed
Absolutely.
that the public school system wasn't able to address in an effective way. And criminal justice, dealing with juveniles,
Mhm.
after that type of career, for you still to say, I want to make the switch to be part of the change that affects these kids before they get to that next level.
Before they get to that point.
That's saying something for the type of person that you are.
Right.
Because so many people would say, let's just build another cell.
No, that's the problem now, because the school to jail pipeline is too large.
Absolutely.
It's too large, and we need to start at the root of the issue to resolve the issue. And we have to start with the education system, because that's where it starts.
Yeah. So paint the picture for us. You decided that you were going to leave the criminal justice system.
Mhm.
And are you a Houston native?
Yes, I am. I'm born and raised in Houston, Texas.
Okay.
From the north side of Houston.
Were you a product of
the
largest district in Texas?
No, and I can
Okay.
remember even from a child, my mom, she would avoid moving to an area that was even
Wow.
zoned to the district.
Wow.
So that spoke volumes, and even now have been worked in the district.
Yeah.
I understand now.
Okay.
So it's been an issue long before I even became a teacher or even graduated college.
Yes.
So it's just piling up at this point.
Okay, so you decided you were going to go ahead and make that transition
Absolutely.
into teaching, and I'm sure that you had to really be prayerful about it.
Mhm.
You had to probably consult with some people who
I did.
were walking in those shoes already, and you still made a decision to do that. When was that?
So I guess I can say more so when I was in undergrad, I did get the opportunity to be a substitute teacher in a high school in
Okay.
the city that I went to school.
Okay.
And it was a passion for mine. That was the one thing that I knew I loved to do,
Really?
was to educate and just speak life into kids
Yes.
and just go from there. So me working in the criminal justice system, I'm like, oh my God, y'all, destiny, like your situation has already come to this.
Yes.
How can I get to the root to prevent you from getting to that point?
Right.
So that was the main thing.
And so what brought you, what said, I'm going to go ahead and take this leap? And what made you decide to go into the middle school type age group?
So middle school, I knew elementary was not my ministry. I knew the high schoolers.
Me either.
The high schoolers, they want to be grown so bad.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, let's start in the
Yes.
middle. Let's see. They're
Yes.
trying to discover who they are. And
Yeah.
let me help you figure out who you need to be for yourself.
Yeah.
Because nobody else is gonna help you with that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. So
you stepped in there on the first
I
day,
did.
and you didn't know anything. Well, you had substitute taught before.
Mhm.
So was it everything initially that you thought it would be, or was it something that you looked at it and you said, I can work with this?
At first, I was like, okay, I was able to do my observation time in the classrooms and actually, see how the instruction was supposed to flow. And
Right.
I finally had gotten in the classroom, and the kids loved me, and I was
Of
able
course.
to, reach to them and come to their level to get them
Yes.
to understand and learn. So,
Right.
and it's a lot of things that people are not coming to their level so that they can rise together. So
Absolutely.
that was.
And you went to work in this district, and you felt like, I'm here, and it's actually going to be an opportunity
Right.
for me to make a difference.
Absolutely.
Now, when you came into the district, what were some of the things that were set before you that were promised to you? Simply because I'm just going from what I've seen in the in the media.
Mm-hmm.
I see billboards.
Mm-hmm.
I see all kinds of I see billboards. I see all kinds of ads
Mm-hmm.
talking about we need great teachers. We are looking for great teachers. Come change the lives of students. When you got into the actual classroom, was it everything that you thought it was going to be?
No, not at all.
What were some of the first things that made you perhaps question the direction that you were, or the impact that you were going to be able to make?
Specifically the kids being multiple grade levels behind. So trying to meet the rigor that the curriculum would entail
Uh-huh.
was very difficult.
Yeah.
If we have eighth graders in
The
their
curriculum had rigor in it?
supposedly, you know, most of us have to
I'm
make
sorry,
it rigorous
girl.
now.
I'm sorry.
So I mean, they felt like it was rigorous for the kids who were actually below grade level.
Okay.
And that was very common.
It is. It
It
is.
is.
Yeah.
It's a sad truth, but that's how they see it.
Right. Now, you were in this district for how long?
My first year officially being a teacher of record, I was
Mhm.
there. I left because they wanted to reassign me to elementary school once again. I'm a ministry.
Yeah.
And I ended up going into a charter for a year, and I taught 11th grade AP,
Okay.
language and composition, and
There were challenges there too. We
there
talked
were
about
some challenges there.
Yeah.
And I was at the time weighing the lesser of the evils, and
Yes.
unfortunately, I chose to get back into the district.
Okay. And how long when you re-entered the district? How long were you in the district before you could see the writing on the wall that that the bottom was starting to fall out of things?
During training, before the school year even started, I was like,
Was that training this year?
absolutely.
Really?
Mm-hmm. So August.
Speak. Tell me. What were some of the things? What were some of the things? Because I'm going to say this. I noticed some things that were very, very questionable
Mm-hmm.
in the training that I was in, but that was back in 2022 or 23 when all this initially took place. And we had to go out to the NRG stadium, and there was a musical play presented, and it was all kinds of things. And I think I've got
So when it comes to that, was that
reasons.
for everyone in the
Yes, for all teachers.
They're selective now.
No. So,
Really?
They're very selective about who goes to the events.
So back in the
This was a what, 2-act play?
wait, so
It was a 2-act play.
in the before time.
starring our superintendent.
Yeah, in the before time.
Yeah, it was a 2-act.
It was a 2 day. It was 2 days for elementary. So, can you just imagine every single elementary teacher in the largest school district
Mm-hmm.
in the state of Texas, all together in
having
one
to
place.
come and
That's
part
a lot.
and all of the
And training.
yeah.
I have a question.
Mhm.
Was it supposed to be a privilege to be invited to this, or
Apparently,
It was a requirement. I'm just saying it was
I'm
a
just saying,
requirement.
of course, you said only some of them will
oh
be.
yeah, it wasn't many.
Okay, so the ones that got the fake. I'm sorry. Let me temper my words. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I'm sorry. It's flips sometimes. That's okay. So the ones that got the B and A ratings in a year, those are the ones.
Oh yeah, the ones that showed high performance. Those were the ones that were invited. Everyone else sat in the auditorium in their schools and watched virtually on a Zoom that was
Oh my
constantly being disconnected.
goodness. No.
And
Right.
We didn't get the
No.
opportunity.
So just to piggyback just a little bit. So just to give them the history lesson, you know,
Yeah.
got to do.
Yeah.
Then the next 2 days
Right.
was all of middle school and all of high school at the NRG. So
Yes.
every single middle school teacher in the entire district and every single high school teacher in the entire district was at the NRG.
But wait, we're going to stop for a second because we have to make sure that this is very clear.
Mhm.
You could not drive your car up there.
No.
You had to go to a satellite place, get on an HISD school bus, and be picked up. So sometimes the ride to the football stadiums where the teachers were picked up, if it was raining, you had to stand out there. There was no shed for us to stand. If it was raining, you had to stand out there. If it was super hot, because this wasn't the summer before school started.
And then the
Next
next
had to stand out there. And the buses, only a certain amount of people get on the bus.
Absolutely.
Everybody's got to be there at a certain time. There was no making reservations on the
Yeah.
bus. So you just had to stand there until the next bus came. And if your training was over, if you had fulfilled all of your training and it was over at 12 noon because you fulfilled it, you could not, the first day, they said there will be buses to pick you up and take you back. But it was soon discovered that was looked upon as, we're giving them too much. So you had to sit there and wait until 4 o'clock.
Oh yeah, they do that.
Yeah. And then in my personal experience, let me think about the bus situation.
Yeah.
Me, it was like 12 group of teachers. We missed the last bus on the
Yeah.
second day. No, y'all, we literally missed the bus. So we all got together and was like, okay, so since nobody can drive up there, I guess we gonna take over. So we literally, I kid y'all not.
How did y'all miss the bus?
No, because the secretary came in and she ran outside because we were at Dollar Middle School. I can
Yeah.
say that.
Yeah.
Lawson Middle School. The secretary ran outside and said, we just got a message from the superintendent because the buses were supposed to come back and pick us up. That all buses are going back to the bus board. And yeah, and then she said that, and we weren't the only ones. She said it was about 35 schools who still had teachers
At the training.
at the bus depot center. So I said, if nobody can drive, what do we do?
Yeah, you won't allow people to drive there. So Portia, I wanna come back to this. Now, this year.
Oh, that sounds like a punishment to me.
It does.
Unless they're serving a full meal, I'd rather be sitting off
It
campus
sounds like first
and
time.
watching satellite
Yes,
with the stuff
yes.
breaking down. I'm just saying.
Okay, Portia, you back in the classroom at now you got to explain this to me because you're not the first person that I've heard this happen to. You reported or were ready to report, and your assignment had been changed to go to a different type of campus.
After my very first year with the district.
Now, did they tell you that with enough time for you to make a decision to say, you know what, I think I'm going to pass on that. Let me go ahead and see what I can do to put in my resume at another.
No,
Bingo.
It was very quick. Like
Yes.
at that time, they had already notified the principals who would not be returning for the year and forced them to resign. And they were trying to get these memorandums out. Hey, I know it says this. Go ahead and sign. And I'm like,
Really? They tried to do that with us too. They go ahead and sign it.
Go ahead and sign.
And are you a union member of any union?
Yes, I am.
Okay. The union told us don't sign anything. Do not sign anything. And when you sign that, well, first of all, I got to ask you this. When you initially came into the district, were you quoted one salary? And when you actually went to sign your contract, did they honor what the quote was?
Oh, for this school year, no. They actually dropped me 64, from 64 to 63.
And you found that out when you went to sign your when you went to look at your offer.
When I actually signed it, it was the original, and then I got an email days later saying, "Hey, we're gonna have to drop you 1,000."
What?
But I'm like, I signed for this.
Yes.
So what's really going on here? Because I already signed. I didn't sign for that. I signed for the 64.
Portia, let me ask you this. So, long story short,
Mm-hmm.
you received 2 weeks ago when you came into work, just like any other day. How did you receive the information that enrollment is down and you're one of the last ones hired? We can't keep you on. How did they tell you that? Because I know how I've seen some of my colleagues released, which was absolutely absurd.
Right.
How did you find out?
So it was a Friday. I was having instruction in my class, and On Fridays, for some reason, the curriculum was never prepared. So we always had to figure out what we're going to do for our kids. So we ended up having novel study books dropped off to us. And of course, I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to have y'all go ahead and start reading your novels, prepare for Monday. And I'm going to take every 20 minutes, we're going to do small groups.
I'm gonna stop you for a second.
Mhm.
What do you mean the curriculum wasn't prepared? There was
Um,
there was no a Friday lesson?
Most of the time, there's never a lesson on Fridays. Throughout the
Because
7 weeks,
because
only
what?
one. They just weren't there. They told us to make do with what we have, or create your own. And what did they call it? Freestyle, extended Fridays is what they call it. And that's when you, as a teacher, have to figure out what you're gonna do for your lesson on Fridays.
So I think I
So everyone, so let me get this right. Does that mean, unlike most scope and sequence or pacing calendars,
Mhm.
where they want everyone in the same place at the same time?
Right.
Because when you have to do your collective or your district testing, we know that all the students have at least learned up to this point.
Right.
Are you saying to me that everybody was kind of doing their own thing?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But here's a piece of the puzzle that portion probably the guests didn't know.
Mhm.
The curriculum team got fired back in July. You can continue.
That makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
Even the curriculum that we were provided, it wasn't tip top shape. Like I said, there's no rigor in our curriculum whatsoever. You have to make it rigorous.
Well, say, go ahead. Go
Oh,
ahead.
I have a question as a parent
Yeah.
who, who was outside looking in.
Right.
I have been hearing all of these glowing accolades from HISD.
Billboards.
Oh, the billboards, the kids are doing
Newspaper
great.
articles.
All the kids have jumped 3 grade levels. I mean,
Yeah.
it's all kind of wonderful.
Yeah.
The testing and the grade is fantastic and all this kind of stuff. The test scores are phenomenal. They have, everybody is improved, more so than anything we've ever seen. Okay. That does not track with what you just told me.
You cannot believe everything that you see.
Exactly.
When you have the power to control things, you have the power to control how people see things as well.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Until
And that's
someone,
what they have been addressing.
yeah, because we got with a couple of the union representatives
Mhm.
here, and one of them, she said, "You know what? I'm gonna tell you something. At one of the schools that they're touting as their premier showcase school,
Mhm.
I taught at that school for 10 years. I know the kids that come in there.
Mm.
And I know what their capability is. I know what their background is. I know the type of feeder schools that they come from.
Right.
That's not the case.
Oh no, it never is. It's all about the look.
Also, too, to mention, because I've been recently let go from that district, so I can now speak
Absolutely.
freely, but I've always so it didn't matter.
Yeah.
So that's part of it. I just want people to understand, those of you who are not familiar with education, Crystal and I have been at it for a very long time. So we're speaking in the state of veteran teachers.
Not very long. I'm not that old. I'm teasing. No, I've been at it going on right at 17 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I've been at it about 13.
Okay. Yeah. Because you were in charter schools first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me explain to you how it actually goes. For those of you who are not familiar with education, there is no way in the world that any school that was once poor performing from the state, from
Yes.
the district,
Yes.
poor performing, you don't jump from an F
To an A.
to an A
In
in
1 year.
9 months.
You don't. You don't.
Okay.
Not unless there is some very strategic manipulation
No.
going on.
So
Of
the only
the books.
possible way,
Mhm.
the only, and it's not even really possible. This is just the only, unless you have built in a structure with teachers who have been teaching for a very, very long time.
Master teachers.
And
Yeah.
even then,
You still
you
have
might go from an F to a C.
C.
Yeah.
C.
Okay.
Yes.
That's-
Yes.
So
That's possible.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's feasible. But anybody jumping from a literal F
Yes.
to an A, I have not, in my 18 years in education altogether, because I started out as a sub for a while.
Right.
I have never, and I'm talking about in the best of the best districts.
Right.
I have never ever seen that. Okay, because it's not possible.
It's not.
And because here's the thing, you still got the same dynamics as far as what's going on with the kids before they get to the school.
Right.
Right.
So you still got abject poverty in some of the areas. You still have the parents who are not able to facilitate the at home learning
Right.
many times because some of the parents
They're still
may
at
have, yeah, they're still at work, and then they may have some challenges that they may not have graduated. They just may not be in a position to be able to push those kids and get those kids, so they depend on the school
Absolutely.
to do this.
Right.
And to be able to get a student, and I'm working with that kind of situation, and I have for many, many years. I try to get my students to where they are seeing improvement.
Right.
And if I can see them see improvement, to me, to take that student from failing to where that student is at a C or a C minus, that is a win.
Right.
That's a win.
So so what you and so that's impossible. Also, for parents that, and not just parents, just any Houstonian that drives by and you see the big billboards.
Yeah.
Of the
And I question that. You got to
the
question
big
that.
billboards about A+ school rating, B+ school
Right.
rating, all of that. You notice there's only one district in the entire city that's doing that.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
You have other districts who are literally A and B, for real A and B.
That's right. They don't have to do that.
And
That's
then
right.
they don't
That's right.
have billboards.
That's right.
Now they have it on the website,
Yeah.
maybe, but they don't have it on the billboards because, as my mama say, you don't have to announce yourself coming into a room.
That's right.
People know who you are.
That's right.
Exactly.
That's right.
So this is what I want people to understand, because I have even seen social media friends of mine,
Yeah.
and granted, I don't hold them to them because they don't work in the education industry.
Right.
They are blown by the smoke and mirrors as well.
Yeah.
But anytime anybody has to go, I told somebody this the other day too. I said, they had a superintendent's, they had a superintendent of the year,
Right.
in the city of Houston.
Uh-huh.
One particular superintendent was not on the stage.
Okay. Okay. Well, let's see. So we can all read the writing on that wall. So
Let me ask you a question.
yes.
Didn't the school board grant the superintendent a big old raise
Twice.
for all of his great things that he's
Twice.
done and all the success he's had with HISD? Did Mike Miles get a great big old fat extra bonus paycheck?
He did.
And that was I think that was public record, right?
No.
It's on the news. It's on the news. I saw it on the news.
Like, the first one, it was very public.
Mm-hmm.
The second one, they tried to disclose it.
Mm-hmm.
Houston Chronicle bust that bubble real fast.
Okay.
They tried to.
Now I saw one like about a week and a half, 2 weeks
Yeah,
ago.
Yeah.
It finally
Which one was that?
the Chronicle exposed it.
And
So now they had to go public.
No, because the way it was written and the way it was passed off in the press
Uh-huh.
was the second bonus that he received. It was passed as an undisclosed location. I mean, undisclosed amount of money. So that's how it was written up, as an undisclosed amount.
This one they gave down to like the
And then, and then the Chronicle busts the bubble because the media they gonna find out.
So we still Portia, we're not finished.
Okay.
Mhm.
So when you went into work that day, a day like any other day, and how did this happen for you? Did you find out that the budget had been cut? So we're going to have to regretfully.
Once I was having small groups, somebody came in, a member of the staff said, hey, they're gonna have a meeting with you. At that point, the kids looked at me and I looked at the kids and I just seen the fear in their face because they have been through this before.
Wow.
And at that point, I knew. I was like, let me go ahead and grab my things. I took all of my things that I know I needed in case I didn't need to come back. I went down
You were
there.
kidding. So you'd seen this happen to people all over the building probably before.
So they try to contain it. So they wait till everybody's going for lunch.
Yes.
So nobody can see it. So I ended up going down there, principal, AP, and there's like, we hate to bring you this unfortunate news. And then they're like, we have to read this script. I'm like, y'all can't go without a script.
There was a script.
There was a script.
Everybody in HISD reads from a script.
The scripts.
And in essence, what did the script say?
Long story short, there's no longer a position available to you at our school due to low enrollment. But just that Monday, I received notification, as well as the other staff members in the school, that all vacancies had already been filled. So there's a lot going through my mind. Was my position already filled before y'all let me go?
Right, right.
Um,
Or were they going to somehow incorporate your students into other classes where you end up with people end up with 45, 50 kids in the class?
so
Yeah.
the reality of that, when I asked them what was going to happen to my classes after my departure, oh, they were going to be split. But on that Monday, I had already gotten information. Oh, the teacher to replace you is here, and she's never taught a day in her life.
Goodness.
And she's the TA with no
And she
college
came
degree.
from a TA position, allegedly,
Oh my goodness.
to replace me.
Okay,
She's a
wait a minute.
TA. She doesn't
Okay.
have a degree. Is she
No
certified?
certification? No.
No certification? Nothing. She's
Okay.
just
They
Okay, so that's why
Exactly.
that's why I wanted us to get exactly to this place, because people need to hear this. Parents out there who have children in the school district, grandparents who have school children in the school district, taxpayers who help to support the school district. This is something that you need to hear. Now, Portia, tell us a little bit about. Tell us again, in case people didn't hear it, about your background and your educational
Okay.
background.
I have a bachelor's degree in criminal justice from Sam Houston State University, and I also have a master's degree in business management and entrepreneurship from Houston Christian University. And that's
And your background, your work background.
criminal justice for the most part. Working for the city, working for the county, mostly criminal justice, pretrial services. I've done corrections. I've been a correctional officer.
Right.
I've worked in juvenile detention centers as far as like housing that are more contract.
Right.
So I've been around the block a couple times.
And the thing about it is, you would want someone with a background like that
Exactly.
to be around kids, and regardless of the school that you're in this particular district that we're talking about, many of those students in that class, even though you have some students who are from wealthier areas, many of them are economically disadvantaged and at risk.
Absolutely.
So someone with your background, when you bring someone in there who's got that kind of background, who's seen it all, who has had to counsel people through situations, it would seem as though they want that person
Right.
in that classroom, because it's almost like you have worked with students who could be in trauma.
Absolutely. Oh, and I've also been a CPS investigator as well. And I feel like that's what brought me in.
so you literally have
All of the qualities.
of the perfect teacher.
The perfect
Absolutely.
You're the teacher that I would want teaching my child,
Absolutely.
especially if I'm an at-risk family or my
That's
child
right.
is at risk.
That's
You are the
right.
teacher that I would want.
Absolutely.
And she chose.
Even growing
Chose
up,
teachers.
I came from Acres Home, so I
Yes.
know.
Mhm.
And these kids, they need teachers that can understand
Their background. That's right.
exactly. And I've been that to my students. So when you get rid of me, that hurt them.
Of course, of course,
Mhm.
of course.
And this is what I've been saying about this whole process, right? I've been saying the whole entire time, teachers are educated. They can go always find something to do, right? Because all the teachers in every single district got an education, right? Of some sort, okay? Some multiple, but at the bare minimum, everybody got a
A
bachelor's
bachelor's
degree,
degree.
Yeah.
right? So they can go do whatever. Who you're hurting is these children.
Because and the reason that Rebecca is saying that is because it has been customary in this particular district
Right.
for people to come in who aren't even degreed yet, in order to teach the kids, where certified teachers have been released, or teachers who are in alternative certification programs,
Right.
who are at least degreed teachers who've chosen to teach at this juncture in their lives. You know, teaching isn't the kind of thing that a lot of people are choosing right now.
No, you have
So
to have a
when you
passion.
when you have people who are choosing to teach at this point, those are the people that you want to grab in and work with and make sure they feel appreciated, make sure that they feel valued,
That's right.
and make sure that they understand that they're going to be treated as a professional.
Exactly.
So tell me again about the person who replaced you, or that you heard replaced you.
She came in this Monday. And
Any teaching experience?
As far as I know, no teaching experience. People have heard her speaking with department chairs and no experience, never taught a day in my life. You can't even figure out how to print out these copies for your students, let alone teach a class up to 30, a full class to the brim.
And an ELA, please tell the class.
Yes,
Please tell it. I'm
Explain what that is. Explain what that's an acronym for.
English language arts.
Yes. So kids
reading,
reading and writing.
Reading, writing, all of it.
Yes.
grammar, structure,
So
all of it.
so Portia, I'm sure that you've heard a whole lot since this happened from others,
Absolutely.
probably others of the 400.
Mhm.
On your particular campus,
Mm-hmm.
were you the only one?
No, they. We know for sure 6 to 7, but some people have even
On your
said 10.
campus?
Yes, in a matter of a week.
6 to 7 teachers were released.
Confirmed, but possibly up to 10. I'm not sure who those other ones may be because they left before me.
Well, I have a question. So that means that, okay, so they brought in a someone who's a teacher's aide,
Mhm.
Basically.
with no college education and zero work
Well,
experience.
now let's be
She
clear.
would have to have a bachelor's.
She has to have a
But
bachelor.
that's
Okay, I'm
no
sorry.
real
I'm sorry.
qualification here.
Okay, she have to have a bachelor. So I'm an art major. So if I want to come in and be the teacher's aide, I
They're
have
gonna let you.
zero experience
Yeah.
with anything dealing with classroom
Education.
management or anything like that. Then I'm gonna come in and get to your class. So that means
They
that
could place you in an ELA class.
in the ELA class. Okay, so yeah, we all sitting around looking crazy at each other. Now, at that point, that means the other 6 or 7 teachers, or up to 10 teachers who might have gotten that same speech.
Right.
Mhm.
There are going to be other people who are placed in those positions who are just pretty much like that
Mhm.
TA who came in there,
Right.
who replaced you.
And like magic, with that kind of situation, we're coming up on these phenomenal gains.
Oh.
Like magic.
Of course, because he said out of his own mouth that just because you're certified,
Mhm.
that doesn't mean you know how to teach
Or that you're qualified.
or that you're qualified to teach. He said there are plenty of certified teachers that have no business in the classroom. And to
Wow.
a certain extent,
Mhm.
I agree.
That's true. That's true.
But to a certain extent.
Yes.
But at least with a certified teacher or
Yes.
a teacher that's in a certification program,
Right.
there's rules and regulations and procedures that need to be followed.
Right.
Absolutely.
I would not trust anybody off. And mind you, I taught without a certification. I didn't really understand the importance of it until I took the certification
Right.
test
But you
and I took the PPR and
but you
I realized
enrolled yourself
right.
in a and here's the thing, people don't understand this. Once they get those people in there who are, you've put this carrot out
Mhm.
and you said we're going to give you these wonderful salaries or whatever. And this is a story for another day. I've told this before, but how I had to go down and just get my identification
Mhm.
changed back to my maiden name
Right.
when at the beginning of the school year. So I went down with another teacher who had to take care of some business down at the administration building too. There was a line winding outside of the building, all the way around the building, with the new teachers who were coming in to sign their contracts. There was a bullpen in there, and that's how they were doing this. It was in a
Right.
bullpen. I saw people in Daisy Duke shorts, tank tops, what they used to call wife beater tank tops. I hate to even use that word, but with no bra and slippers and slides.
Yeah.
Bonnets, and they were coming in to sign their contracts. These are the people that were literally, when you say people, now I'm not saying if you have on a bonnet or if you have on Daisy Dukes or you don't wear a
There's a
bra
time and a
to sign
place.
your contract, that you are not qualified. I'm not saying that. However, this is what I'm saying. If I had when her daughter, when my sister's daughter was 10 years old, and if she had to accompany me down, and I would walk through that line, and I would have to say, Tony, now these might be some of your new teachers.
And then she would go home and tell
She would go home and tell her mom, absolutely.
Yeah, and I would have been at the school the next day.
That's
Wait
right.
a minute, hold on.
That's right.
What is going on?
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, Portia, let me ask you this. You were probably you were the ideal candidate,
I was.
but the ideal candidate obviously was not what was being looked for.
Right.
What was being looked for is someone who could be molded and would
Would
conform to what was being presented.
Mhm.
With your qualifications, you are sitting poised to actually be in a principal training program because at most school districts, because of your background.
And as
Do you understand what I'm
I
saying?
understand.
You already got the master's degree.
Right.
You would simply have to,
Just go
make
through
sure
the certification.
this is what we want. Someone who has experienced what these kids have experienced and who is saying, I now want to come back and be a part of changing these students' lives.
Right.
But in this particular instance, this is the one that we want out of here.
Right. And in that case, I would be the ideal candidate to go up for
To
to be a
mold,
principal. But now at this
yes.
point, you don't even need a certification to be a principal because that's who they have in place now.
Ooh.
And a lot of people don't realize that.
Oh,
So
and let's add
Right.
because at your
That I didn't know. That I did
at
not
your
know.
former school, at your former school,
Yes.
you have 2 of them that don't even have master's degrees.
Wait a minute.
Principals?
Yes.
Principals.
Really? Okay.
Okay, so let me ask this. Now we know that when the bottom falls out of things, when the bottom falls out of
It
things,
will.
these people can't even go to another district
To go.
and be taken
No.
seriously.
No.
They have to go right back in the classroom.
And that's where a lot of them came straight from the classroom into an AP position. And I was like, how? With 2 years of teaching experience, how?
How? You tell me how.
I wouldn't be able to say, I don't know how that works.
The superintendent not certified.
But there it is.
I mean, he's not certified.
Well, let me ask you this, because like I said, again, this is just from the outside looking in. To me, it seems like you have positions. And basically, according to HISD, teachers don't have to be certified. Anybody can teach.
Anybody
So
can be a
it's just a matter of you have a seat warmer. You just get pick up this person and put them in there, put them here. Pick up this person and put them here. They don't have to have that. They don't. If it's certification, they don't have to have the background in their subject matter, right? It's just anybody in the. So, like I said, I'm an art major. So let's say they want to put me in a class math. That was that was never my strong suit. I had to get A's in every single other class I ever
balance it out.
balance out that struggle C or D I got in math, because that's just not what I needed, right? So they're gonna put me in a math class. Okay, so as far as I know, with HISD, now they teach from these different worksheets and whatever.
No. If you have the slide deck.
Oh, the slide. Okay,
But and let me say this. Now it could have changed since 2023. I don't know. But let me tell you what I noticed with the slide deck. Your students could not ask questions.
Okay, now that was my next. That was my next thing.
In that slide deck, there was not room for the students to ask questions. If the students had a question, this is what they had us do. The student would write down the question on a note card. We had to have a certain amount of note cards the students had to have in front of them. What if you have a student who struggles with writing, who's dyslexic? What if you have a student who struggles with reading or expressing themselves in writing? For them to have to try to remember, what if they got 6 questions by the time that you're finished with that lesson?
Oh, and I'm gonna bring something.
And multiply that by all the students.
Because now, when you're in the classroom and you're monitoring, checking during a short constructive response, they don't even want you to spend more than 30 seconds with a child. I'm like, what is a child gonna learn?
I was getting ready to get on that. I had a teacher call me last night from the same school district, crying to me, saying she's ready to quit and asking me for some advice. The reason she's ready to quit is because she's a special education teacher. Well, and she blatantly told me, it was about it was multiple problems, but
Right.
it was about one particular student. And the first thing I said, well, what was on the child's IEP? For those of you who don't know what an IEP is, that's an individualized education plan. So
For special education.
for special education students, and it's under the federal guidelines of IDEA.
Yes.
Okay, so that means disabled students, basically saying that disabled students have the right to learn,
That's right.
and they have a right to have their learning accommodated
Right.
or modified in order to learn the material, just like a child who's not in special ed.
That's right.
Okay.
That's what it is. So that's a
Alright.
federal guideline.
Right. Guidelines.
So she was told, bless her heart,
Mhm.
she was told that on the child's IEP, that the IEP called for extra time
Right.
and oral administration
Mhm.
on everything, not just text. This was the child's IEP specifically said.
Mhm.
Some lovely principal walked in the room and told her, I don't care what's on their IEP. If it stops the flow of instruction, turn it in. They don't get extra time.
And also with special education, if you have a certain amount of students who have IEPs or who receive special services in a classroom, legally you are supposed to have a teacher's aide or an additional teacher in there
Right.
who can help alleviate some of that while the teacher is delivering the lesson. It
Right.
could do the walking around and explain, but now.
So
you
now
have-
you're on your special education, and I thought it was just an isolated case.
Yeah,
Come to find out, it's not an isolated
It's not.
case.
yeah.
Come to find out, several teachers across the district are dealing with the same thing. So laws are being violated because that is illegal. And like I've been telling teachers, I said at the end of the day, I don't care what anybody says, you have to follow the federal law because it takes one child to tell their parent, and their parent will tell the state, and your
Absolutely.
license will be revoked. And that you will not be able to teach anywhere. That, and when you signed off on your teacher's license,
Mhm.
on them terms and agreements,
Right.
that was one of the things that was listed.
You follow federal guidelines.
You follow federal guidelines. But teachers in this particular district are being told verbatim not to follow federal guidelines.
Right.
So, all of that, Portia,
Mhm.
you sit now in a position where you have the heart of a teacher,
Right.
and this is what you really wanted. This is the direction you wanted your career to go in.
Absolutely.
And let me just, I want you to be very honest with us.
Okay.
Has your perception been tainted to the point that you would not go back into another classroom now? Or do you still have faith?
No, I definitely
Okay.
still have faith, and nobody
Good.
can take that from me.
Good.
So
So you could go to another district and you'll be
absolutely
fine.
right. I left on
Yes.
good terms,
Yes.
according to them. So
Yes.
I'm definitely going to stay in education because I know now more than ever they need me.
Yes.
Right.
And that's what a lot of
Yes.
people need to do.
Yes.
You can't be scared of these people. You got to do it for these kids because they're not doing it for them.
Mhm.
Okay. Portia,
Unfortunately.
if you had to sit and tell another person who was thinking or contemplating entering this district at this point in time, who has a heart of gold like yours, who is wanting to help change the lives and the trajectory of these students, could you in good faith tell them that this would be the right step for them?
In good faith, no. Why? Because a lot of times, even being there, it goes against ethics and moral compass. So that's just something that you have to consider going into the district before getting into the district because you're going to be signing up for something that you don't even realize you're signing up for.
Wow.
Wow. That's
And
That's profound.
I do not want to be the reason for a child's demise. I can't do it.
wow. That's
On the HISD teacher group, what do I always say? I say, y'all are willfully committed malpractice.
Absolutely.
And they get upset with me when I say that, and they give me all the excuses in the book about, at the end of the day, you're willfully committing malpractice.
Right.
You're choosing to do this.
You're choosing.
You are.
Because my thing is, if they want to get rid of you, they're going to do it. So do what you need to do and save yourself. And
Yes.
follow those protocols that you find when you got your certification.
Right. Right.
Because it's, excuse my language, damned if you do, damned if you don't. That's just what it is.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
I mean,
And you know, Rebecca and I know teachers and people who have advanced throughout this, you know, up throughout this administration, who we've taught with before.
right.
We know that they are good teachers with a heart for those kids.
Mhm.
We question ourselves every day on how they remain in that situation, because you know, have they been brainwashed, or are they staying there knowing that this will come to an end and I am going to be here to help bring the district back to civility once this is over? We are wondering, we've asked that question because these are good people.
Mm-hmm.
and my
These are good people.
normally, you know, and I'm not answering for them, but my response when they give me that,
Yeah.
it's like, how many children are you hurting in the process? Like, I get what you're saying. I
Yeah.
get staying in the fight. I get all
Yeah.
of that. But how many children are you hurting in the process? Because every day that you decide to stay, that's a child is not getting what they need in order to be successful. And that's just what it is. If there, you can't cookie cut it, you can't sugarcoat it. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Every day you decide to stay there, you are signing up to turn children away from what they need. They're not learning. And that's the bottom line.
Yeah.
Crystal, you and I have run into kids now that are seniors that we taught when they were in middle school.
Yeah.
And what do they tell us all the time? Miss, the last time we had education is when you and Miss was in class.
Yeah.
Oh, I've heard that one already.
Yeah.
Well, you know, it seems to me like it is a sinister master plan. I hate to be a conspiracy theorist,
Yeah.
but you know, from myself, my point of view, and everybody who voted down that bond proposal, there
Right.
is no trust
That's
from
right.
this HISD administration. There's not any trust. And I honestly feel like Mike Miles was sent to HISD to break HISD.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Break
Yeah.
HISD
Yeah.
because if you break the biggest one,
You can
all the other ones
Fall in
will
line.
crumble and fall in line. So he was sent here to break HISD. And on top of it, to make it look like it was wonderful and glowing while it's being broken.
Yeah.
So, you know, if people out there, like I said, he could fool some people some of the time, but with all those people who voted down that bond proposal, it's all more of them out
Actions
there
speak louder
that
than
you're
words.
not
That's right.
fooling.
That's
We
right.
see it happening right before
Yes.
our eyes. We see the vouchers going through in the state.
Yes.
We see public schools trying to be
Being
diminished.
trampled. Being trampled.
Little by little by little,
Yes.
public schools are being trampled.
And
They're
diminished.
going to be
Yeah.
that the state of Texas said they're going to be funded. We're going to give them, you know, as much money as they need. I don't believe that.
No.
I believe they're going to be defunded.
No, if you've got the largest district saying that, okay, and this is the thing, the reason that you were given is that a decrease in enrollment.
Mhm.
Why are families running like rats off a sinking ship?
Why?
Trying to get away from the largest district?
Our parents come.
If it's that good.
Parents have literally come to me for open house, mind you, way before report cards came out. Can you please put a recommendation in for my child to go to private school?
You're kidding.
Already? Yes, absolutely. And now a lot of those parents are looking for me, and I'm not there. Because I don't mind. Because I know what's going on, and I want the best for your child. And if you feel like removing them out of the district is what you have to do, that's your child. You do what's best for them, because they're not going to do what's best for your child.
Mhm.
When it comes down to it.
And then what I'm also finding out, because Crystal can tell you, and Portia can tell you, that I'm over one of the largest teachers group on
Absolutely.
a social media site. And what I'm also finding out, you have teachers now so blatantly say that nobody else gonna pay me $92,000 a year.
So basically they're staying for the money.
It's for the money. It's not for the
Yeah.
passion of one of the teachers.
Yeah, ain't nobody else gonna pay me $86,000 a year.
Well, I have a teacher that left my school last year because for that reason. And he said, I'm going where the money is. I'm going where the money is. And when we heard that over at that particular school, 13 teachers were let go week before last, I was like, oh my gosh, I hope that he wasn't one of them.
Right.
Well, you know what? I put it like this: whoever they're paying the most is probably going to go first. I mean, you
Yeah.
know, if you're just looking at your bottom line, you get rid of your whales first. You don't get rid of the minnows. You get rid of the whales first.
Yeah.
You know, the people who are costing you most money. If he's making 92, I can almost bet you bottom dollar he was the first one out.
Wow.
Just saying.
And that also that goes back. But when I hear teachers say that, it upsets me. When it definitely upsets me.
It does too.
Because
Yeah.
when you have a heart for children,
Yeah.
you have a heart. You literally, genuinely have a heart for
Right.
your children.
It's a challenge for you to stay there and see their test scores, see them do well. That's what makes it's like a competition.
Right.
Let me see how much I can have these kids grow.
Absolutely.
But in the
Yeah.
grand scheme of things, 'cause
Yeah.
you know, I always think politically, always.
Mhm.
In the grand scheme of things, what does that say about how we treat teachers in this society?
Oh, you see it.
Right,
You see
right.
the Department of Education.
Right.
You
Be
see
gutted.
that
Be
being
gutted.
gutted.
Yes.
You see this administration, Republican administration. Yes, I'm gonna say it, and I'm not gonna sugarcoat this at all.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
okay.
name check.
Yes.
This Republican administration does not want to see public education be lifted up throughout this United States. That is not what they want. They want little pockets of private schools and little pockets of charter schools.
That's how you
little
can keep
pockets
your
of
populace.
schools.
That's how you can keep your populace uneducated.
And
That's
control.
exactly.
Control.
Because if
Exactly.
you're not an educated population, I can tell you the sky is purple,
And you
you
don't
don't
believe
have
it.
and you don't have enough sense to go look up
Yeah.
to see that the sky is not
Right.
purple.
That's right.
Because
That's right.
you a sheep.
Right.
That's
You
right.
know, and you don't have a choice to be a sheep
That's right.
because you don't know nothing else.
You know, and if you don't know anything, you don't question authority.
Right.
You don't question authority. So, like I say, maybe I'm a conspiracy theorist, but it's all trickling down.
It does.
It's all
Yeah.
trickling
And
down.
this is where we are too. I keep saying for Black and brown people especially, education in a lot of ways is our only ticket out.
That's right.
We
It
always
is.
know that. We knew that in slavery, right?
Yes.
When people
Yes.
died to learn
Right.
to read.
Or
We
education was
always
trying
knew
to be
this.
kept from the slaves so that they could not read because they
Absolutely.
knew if they could read, they could figure out
No,
what was going on around them.
Even,
That's
even,
right.
Has to happen.
even
That's right.
looking back in history, even people who made it who didn't have no type of education, they still encouraged their children
Absolutely.
Yes.
Right.
to even I don't care how successful they were in their own right,
Right.
they still encouraged their
That's right.
children to go get an education.
That's right.
And the reason I'm bringing this up because you are hearing, like Kim said, you're hearing a Republican populist that's saying that education is not
It's not important.
Now, mind you, these are the same people that got Harvard, Yale, Princeton, and Brown
Degrees. That's right. That's
Okay.
right.
At the bachelor's
That's
degree,
right.
we're not even talking about higher degrees. Okay?
That's right.
Yes.
So
Yes.
these are the same people that saying, "Oh no, education is indoctrination," but they have education,
That's
Right.
right.
and lots of it.
Right.
But they don't think you need to have it.
Right,
Yes,
and,
right.
and their children have education, and their families are highly educated.
You don't need it.
And I want to set the record straight on something. And I want, I'm going to put this out there because when I kept hearing a few weeks back, this quote being made by someone, and this person was saying, if I see an African American pilot, I think to myself, oh my gosh, I hope he's qualified. Well, you know what? This is how I feel if I see an African American pilot. I feel good because this is the first thing that goes through my mind and probably the mind of other African Americans out there because they know this is the case. I know he's qualified because he had to fight 10 times as hard
Yes.
to get even to be able to take the test to be there. He had to be 10 times as good
That's
in
right.
order to do that. So I know I'm in good hands.
That's right.
Yes, the same thing for a doctor. I know that person had to be stellar in order to get just an opportunity to walk in those shoes.
That's right. And
Yes.
when people have said that certain very well-educated Black women did not have the mental capacity
Right.
Yes.
or that kind of thing.
No, the exact words, the mental processing skills
Yeah.
Processing skills.
to be
There you
in
go.
any type of leadership position.
Right.
Yeah.
So those people were probably in the top 1% in education in this entire country.
Yes.
And the quote was made by someone who did one semester of junior college.
Community college.
Community
Not
And
even-
was rejected by a stellar military academy.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
wasn't able to pass the test to get in.
That's right. And to have someone like that
Call to question.
denigrate and call to question someone else's qualifications who these people are 100 times more qualified than they are. Understand, in this particular administration, those voices, the ones who look down and denigrate people who are exceptionally qualified, the voices that are not qualified are being raised.
Yes.
And then everybody else is told it's all because of merit. Again, we're not drinking that Kool-Aid.
We know better.
We know
better.
We're not drinking that Kool-Aid. And that's why for so many generations,
Yes.
African American
That you've got to be 10 times as
you
good.
have to be twice as good to get half as far.
That's right.
We've known that.
That's right.
We said, okay, we went into that with eyes wide open.
That's right.
So that means that person who's sitting next to you is probably, if you're somebody who is looking at somebody and saying, oh, that's a DEI hire, that kind of stuff.
And
that person is probably 10 times more qualified than you.
That's probably you are a DEI. Definitely earned it.
Yeah.
Right.
Thank you.
Right.
Marsha, I'm looking at what you brought with you. Tell me a little bit about what you have with you.
So I have actually gotten into creating children's workbooks. This is
Wow.
my very first one.
No, hold it up.
Hold it up. Here it is. It is available on Amazon. You can get it on Prime as well.
Yes.
It basically for kids starting at 3 to 5. But if you're a parent and you're ready to get your child writing,
Right.
this is the book for you.
Oh,
Okay, there's
my
extra
goodness.
pages in here.
That is awesome.
We use very simple words
Simple
to
and
start
pictures, lots of pictures.
Exactly, and they also have the opportunity to even color.
Wow.
So it's in a full engagement book for youth.
Okay, for kids before they get into actual school, so they have a good head start.
Absolutely, because a lot of I'm realizing even now as a teacher, a lot of these kids don't know the basics of writing,
They don't.
and it starts
They
at a very
don't.
young age.
Yes.
So
I had the fortunate experience. That was kind of crazy to sub in a second grade class for
Wow.
3.5 weeks. And the principal was telling me, I want you to read to the kids. I was like, these are second graders.
They should be able to read to themselves.
But I did it because that was asking me, But then, and they were super excited. They were socioeconomic disadvantaged, and I hate saying that.
Yes. Yes.
That's what they were. So something
They probably loved it.
they did because they loved the little inflections and the voices that I made and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So one of the kids, something compelled me to ask them, how many of you actually get read to at home or have been read to? Maybe when you guys were little. I know y'all probably don't remember, but out of a class of 25 kids, 3
Raise their hand. Wow.
reading is so fundamental.
Yes.
I preach that every day in my class.
Yeah.
Reading is fundamental.
Yeah.
The secrets of life are in books, and they're waiting for you not to read it so you don't know.
And the thing about it is Kim's daughter was reading before she went to school.
I was
Because she had all kinds of little books like this. And we were at a do y'all remember that restaurant called the Black Eyed Pea?
Oh,
Kind of home cooking
Black Eyed
Yeah. Those low Black Eyed. But we were at the Black Eyed Pea one day, and was she 2?
She was like 3.
She was 3. And do you know how they used to bring those little placemats for the kids to color on and everything?
And it was a word search.
And it was a word search. And in the word searches, some of the letters are back, some of the words are backwards and everything. And we didn't say anything to her. The waitress just put it down in front of her, and she just started she started.
Just
Yes.
circling everything. And we were just looking like, wait, baby, I didn't even know that. And she just started circling
Yes.
all the
So,
words.
and I'm saying that to stress how important it is for us to practice language and speaking and reading to our kids, even if it's not our kids, our little cousins. And
But the problem is, a lot of our, and it's unfortunate, a lot of our parents are not, a lot
are not, yeah,
you know, we're teachers.
Yeah.
We see this every day.
Yeah.
A lot of our parents are not educated.
that's true.
So you have, and it's stunned my own family when I used to tell them all the time,
Yeah.
no, I'm teaching kids that are in the 7th grade.
Right.
They are really, truly on 3rd and 2nd grade.
Absolutely.
Now, and I used to tell people all the time, I said,
Yes.
you can bring up a child that's 1 grade level behind.
Right.
Like, that is so simple. Okay?
Yes.
You can work with that all day.
Yes.
Matter of fact, you can pull them up in 6th,
3 and 4.
but when you 3, 4, 5, 6th grade levels behind, I mean, I had
That's hard.
7th grade kids that misspelled their own names.
Right.
What?
No, seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Baby, your name starts with a C, not a K.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm saying that.
Yeah.
According to the record, baby, this is how your name's spelled.
Right. So, and these weren't all English language learners either. Okay.
Yes. No.
These were not all English language.
No. A lot of them are native
Right. So
speakers.
when you hear teachers say this, and for some reason we always get the blame of it. Well, what are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? What are y'all not doing? And I always say education starts at home.
At home?
Yeah.
But now at this point, I guess I have to stop saying that because
It's not at home.
because a lot of it is not at home. A lot of it is on us.
Well, you know, Rebecca, before we say goodbye to Portia, I'm going to have her to tell us again where parents can access the workbooks from. And is this your only one, or do you have others for
So
other ages?
This is the only workbook that I have,
Okay.
but there is more to come because I really
Okay.
it was a Spanish version.
Oh
So I'm going to make sure I can conform to our ED students as well.
yeah.
So that is the goal because they have to start too. Because like
That's
I said,
right.
ESL classes are not a thing anymore.
Yes.
They're all in general ed.
Oh my goodness.
So
I didn't know that.
please
Yeah.
support me.
Yes.
Yes.
Right on time, ready, set, trace. Get your kids ready to write because it is so important. Okay.
Where can they order them from?
Amazon. So if you just go on Amazon and just look for
I
ready,
love
set,
the
trace.
name.
Thank
I love the name.
Right on time.
Yes.
Right. WRIT.
That's
on
cute.
time.
I like that.
Thank you.
I like
And
that.
Portia, you know, we have thousands of other educators
Okay.
and administrators who watch the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
If you know, you tell us
Okay.
if someone wants to reach out to you because they would love to have you,
Please.
are you available?
Absolutely. I have nothing but time. At this point, I have nothing but time.
And qualification.
Absolutely. I'm
And
for
qualification.
This is your next classroom teacher.
That's right.
everybody.
This is your next classroom
Or
teacher.
administrator and training. She's got all the right.
Absolutely.
She's got all the right.
Yes.
Right qualifications.
Mhm.
But I want to say this, and I have to do this because this is very important. Any of our guests who come on to share with us what their experiences have been, they are not in any way at all necessarily promoting or endorsing my campaign. Okay, for state legislator for District 131. They are not, but we want to make sure that we share this. This is a cautionary tale.
Mm-hmm.
This is a cautionary tale. And we're going to tell it like it is. She's been through it. I've been through it.
I'm going through it.
And she's going through it. We're all not with this very district that we're talking about right now because you don't have people in droves just escaping that ship because, you know, just because.
Right.
It's a reason, especially people who are veterans who've been there years and years and years. Everybody who was present in Houston knows that all districts have challenges.
Absolutely.
But you know what? They're generally challenges that can be overcome.
Exactly.
And when you have people who want to stay there, now don't get me wrong, because you got people that need to be weeded out on different levels.
Oh, yes.
That's any
profession.
Any profession.
That's any
That's any profession. But please understand that this is in no way an endorsement of me or my campaign, but I do want you to know that I'm standing behind these teachers. I stand behind myself as a teacher who wanted the best for her students, and Rebecca as a teacher who wanted the best. We are not with the district, all for different reasons, but isn't that an amazing common denominator?
Right.
That we're all not there anymore.
Mhm.
So reach out to your unions, teachers.
Please.
Reach out to you've got two large teachers unions in this Houston area. Reach out, ask them questions. That's what they're there for the very small amount that you pay
Right.
as to be a member of these unions. A lot of people will have your back. Okay?
And I'm going to say this before
And give
we
you
close
good
out.
advice.
I'm going to say this before we close out. If something is not done in the largest school district in the state of Texas, Houston, you're going to have a problem.
Absolutely.
And what I mean by that is those AI jobs, those STEM jobs, those code jobs,
Yeah, yes.
all of those jobs that is going to require a level of
Expertise.
expertise,
Technological expertise.
Houston is going to suffer.
Yes.
I want people to understand what I'm saying.
Even Rebecca mechanics jobs.
Right.
These things are electronic now.
Mhm.
You've got to know how to code and get on a computer to diagnose what's the matter with a car.
I want the city of Houston, for all of those people that's running for office and trying to get into these spaces.
Yeah.
And I'm not just saying it because Crystal is running, because this has been a concern of mine as a native Houstonian,
Yeah.
who grew up in, who went to school in the largest elementary, middle school, high school, in the largest district in the state of Texas.
Yes.
Houston, if something is not done, I
Yes.
don't care what he's telling y'all and what he's propping himself up to say.
That's right.
If something is not done, the workforce in this city is going to suffer.
Yes.
These children will not be able to get into Houston Community College.
No.
Yes.
They're not going to be able to get into cosmetology programs.
Right.
That's how bad this situation is.
Yes.
We're trying to sound the alarm to wake everybody up.
Yes.
And it's almost it's so much running that you can do.
Yes, that's right.
It's so much running that you can do. But if we don't do something now and do something immediately, Houston job market is gonna suffer here. And then y'all are gonna be wondering why we can't get people to fill jobs, why
Yeah.
people are ready to leave this city, why there are no opportunities here.
That's right.
Well, you didn't cut the pipeline.
Exactly.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Well,
Yes.
all right. Crystal, you're running for District 131.
That's
what
me.
you're running for.
I'm running for state representative.
Thank you.
For district
Representative.
for district 131.
Yeah.
And I didn't poke my head out when it was time to run for office. And you've seen us on here for the last 4 years.
Mhm.
And we're bringing to you the plight of people in the district, people with disabilities, of seniors, of teachers, of educators, of just people in Houston who are trying to make sure that their plight and the challenges that they are having are recognized by people. Now, you're going to start seeing us mid next week with a lot of information out that you can, if you would like to come aboard and help us out in any way, you can absolutely do this. But for tonight, Portia Harrison, Rebecca Williams, Kim Dillard, like we say every week, we can do it. See you later.